Hello from another gorgeous day on Explore and the start of another wonderful week. And we're going to make it just a gorgeous week because every day is so precious. And today I'm super proud to be wearing this t-shirt, Be the Change, made by the Gorillas. Oh my goodness, I love their songs. And this is about these t-shirts. You could buy hoodies as well. This is all about getting Black history onto the curriculum. So all the proceeds, every single penny from the t-shirts and hoodies that you can buy online from the Gorillas music group, all goes to the Black curriculum. So it's a really worthy cause. And Black lives do matter, but I've been having a really good think about things, and I did a history degree, and I don't mean that in a bragging way at all, but I have noticed, what I really noticed when I did that degree was, where were the women's voices, the children's voices, the voices of those who are different? And even in this day and age, you know, where are the voices of those who are different? The government certainly aren't hearing them because their education policies are completely separate from mental health policies. And the reason I'm leading on to this is because all of last week, I can honestly say I probably had between 80 and 100 emails and private messages, Facebook messages from people just pulling their hair out because their hearts are breaking because their children are so anxious, and that's then spilling into OCD, which is the ultimate expression of anxiety, really. It's the mind, the body, the person trying to cope with those terrible feelings of anxiety. And it really upsets me when I read these stories. So I'm combining this video with for my article, my weekly therapy articles for Anna Kennedy Online, the autism charity run by Anna Kennedy OBE. And we're going to be talking a lot about breathing and the power of breathing. And it's hugely valuable and incredible and gets things shifting when you do particular breathing exercises when you're anxious, feeling overwhelmed, you have mental health issues, or just challenges, things you're trying to work through, and you need to take that step back and just breathe. So being little Mrs. Blue Peter, or Ms. Blue Peter, woohoo! I love that now, sorry. I've made a little anxiety box. Well, it's quite big actually because it had a load of shortbread in it. So you don't have to go and buy anything. If you've got tins hanging around, you can do all sorts. So you can, and recycling, looking after the planet. So many messages in one video. My brain's going at about 1 billion miles an hour today. Anyway, my dear friend Caroline from Belfast, thank you Caroline, sent the Rainbow Kids a whole parcel of different craft things for when I was able to be with them again after lockdown. So what I did was I took these and I wrote all different things. These are all the breathing ones, but I'm going to do a little bit on another video this week with the massage, story massage, and yoga that also helps with anxiety. But the video would be about an hour long, and you all might feel like throwing darts at your televisions or screens. So I won't bombard you with all of it today, even though I'm full of energy. Oh my God, I'm so full of energy today. Can you feel it? So I've taken out the breathing ones. Clearly this is something I need to do today. And I'm going to show you how it works. So you could either do a little ginger person, let's keep it fair, a ginger person hunt around the garden, or if it's a bit of a misog day, you could hide them. You could do a hide and seek game around the house, put them in books or, you know, behind the telly, things like that, and say hot or cold when the kids get near them, so that it's like a real treasure hunt. Really good fun. If you're an adult, of course, well, unless you're a bit like me, you could just, these are just handy techniques to know for you to just practice without chasing gingerbread people all around your garden. If you don't have some handy gingerbread people, you could make shapes. Look at these lovely bright flowers to cheer everybody up. You could make shapes. You could make beautiful circles, eggs of different colours. Get the kids to do them, because cutting things out helps with fine motor skills as well. Anyway, I'm going to get on with the breathing, otherwise I'm going to start going on about motor skills, and I want to talk to you about breathing. And the reason it is so fantastic is because when we breathe, it pushes all the blood and oxygen up to the brain, fires us up, gives us that focus and perspective, but it also helps to push the serotonin. 90% of our serotonin is in our gut, and the billions of neurons that are, they're like dopamine, that whizzes up that gorgeous vagus nerve that connects the second brain to the first brain. And don't forget, in this second brain, our gut, that's where the anxiety is. That's where the seat of that awful, crippling feeling of overwhelm, of dread, is all stored. So when we breathe deep into our tummies and breathe through our noses and out through our mouths, we're actually expanding our diaphragms, pushing those happy hormones and coping chemicals up to the brain. And we are also pushing the blood and oxygen up to the brain. So it's boosting self-esteem, it's boosting focus, perspective, problem solving, good judgment, feeling able to cope and function. And breathing is a big part of yoga and massage, actually, because when I massage, that's very, very mindful with beautiful deep breathing, so that it drops that atmosphere in the room. Anyway, I've made a little lucky dip box because I really love lucky dip. I don't know why, there's just something about it. It's just, I always have to do it when I go into shops or little fairs, you know. My children are so embarrassed, they run for the hills. Oh God, Mum's doing another lucky dip. Anyway, here we go. So I've got shimmering bubble breaths. Now remember, when you breathe in, your tummies should come out. If your tummies go in when you breathe in, it means you're doing something called reverse breathing, which I've talked about on several of my other videos. And I always say to the children who do that, it's a superpower, because in a way it is. But I say to them, if you want to have a double superpower, then we want you to get breathing forwards instead of backwards. That's how I explain it to very young children. I don't address anything negatively. What it's indicative of, if you haven't seen any of my videos before, when people reverse breathe, as it's called, it's a sign that they've been under fight or flight, intense stress, trauma, anxiety for quite some time. So they begin to reverse breathe. I used to do it for a while, for quite a long while, and I didn't even know I was doing it. So it's a good way to see where you're at, where your child is at, or someone who you're worried about is at. Because, for instance, these shimmering bubble breaths I was doing with a couple of girls this morning, and I said, I'll put my hands on my tummy. Can you breathe on your tummy? Can you breathe into my hand? And that's when I had my hands, one on their back, one on their tummy. You can then feel whether they're breathing out, their tummies go out when they breathe in, or whether their tummies go in when they breathe in. And one of the girls, her tummies was going in when she was breathing in. So I did lots of breathing exercises with her, to get her used to breathing correctly, so that the diaphragm can expand, the lungs go to full capacity, because when we breathe deeper, we're getting more air in our lungs. So when you breathe shallowly, there's that panic feeling, that overwhelm feeling. So the minute you start to breathe correctly, you're instantly there with lowering anxiety, boosting the self-esteem, because you're breathing to the tummy and pushing up those happy hormones and coping chemicals. I do talk a lot, don't I? I'm going to get on with my little lucky dip now. So shimmering bubble breaths. So what you do is, this is gorgeous, this one. I say to the children, imagine you've got a bubble wand, you know, that you dip in the little pots of fairy liquid. You can make your own. And you dip it in, and you're going to blow bubbles, but they're shimmering bubbles. And you can put into those bubbles wishes. Some people want to put fairies in them. If it's adults, you might want to just imagine beautiful bubbles going up, because that is actually very, very restful to be in bubbles. If I see them in the street, I always have to walk into them. I don't pop them, I'm not that mean, but there's just something lovely about them, isn't there, you know? So if you just take a deep breath in, but through your noses, because when you breathe in through your noses, you're taking in the oxygen more intensively. So it fires up the brain, which is what we want, because when we're anxious, our brains are busy chattering and getting that horrible anxious overwhelm. And anxiety really is, I would actually go so far as to call it an invisible disability. I've suffered with it in the past, I'll be honest with you, and it's absolutely crippling when it gets to that point where you can't pay for your shopping, or you're halfway somewhere in the car and you have to come back, or you can't leave the house. It could be as bad as that for people. So anyway, bubble breaths. You could put those sorts of anxieties into your bubbles if you wanted. If you're little, it's a very powerful visual way if you're little. So I've got my big pot in front of me, and I am imagining it, I really am. I didn't mean to point then. I've got my wand and I'm dipping it in, and I'm breathing in through my nose, and my tummy is coming out today. And I'm going to blow my bubbles. And on this one, you're letting your breath out really gently. So you're not pushing it out. It's very, very gentle, because you're really wanting to push up those happy hormones and coping chemicals from the gut. So if you're an adult, not racing around after little wooden people, you can just put your hands on your tummy, breathe in through your nose, feel your tummies come out into your hands, and then gently blow out. And you just imagine you're blowing bubbles. Everybody can imagine things, and it's quite good fun. Dandelion puff. Now this is more vigorous, so I'm quite in the mood for this today, because I'm just bursting with energy for my week. So imagine a massive, massive dandelion in front of you. A child I work with, just before making this film, I said to her, how big is your dandelion? And she said, I want it to be as big as the moon, which I thought was just beautiful, because dandelions are almost the colour of the moon. So we sat on the decking of my therapy chalet together in the sunshine, and we breathed into our tummies through our noses, and we imagined these massive dandelions in front of us, and you have to blow all the seeds like wishes, beautiful wishes, all the wishes you have for people, for yourself, for the world. Thousands and thousands of wishes, like little seeds to go and take root. So I'm going to do it now. I'm imagining my big moon-shaped dandelion in front of me. Yours might be as big as a football, or the sun, or the world, or the universe. It's entirely up to you. You're in charge of it. So here we go. Mine is a massive dandelion, because I like wishes. Size of the moon. And you can actually feel them just sprinkling everybody. It's so delicious, that one. So that's that one. Rolling waves. Now this is gorgeous. You dome your hands over your ears. You don't flatten them, because your face is not an accordion. So you just dome them like this. It's very womb-like, it's very soothing. And you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And if you imagine you're lying next to the sea, this one sounds just like waves. And when you put sound in your bodies, it reprograms all the cells down to that delicious theta level, which is what happens when you meditate. And that instantly gives you focus and perspective and good judgment. So I'm going to do a few more, because I've got a really busy day. I did actually wake up feeling a bit anxious because of the mountains of stuff I've got to do. So this will really help me charge before doing all of that. So ocean breathing. So just imagine your hands are like shells. In through your nose. You could do it right now while I'm doing it. We can all go on a little seaside day trip. Isn't that beautiful? Right, I'm doing all of them. Hot chocolate breathing. Now, if this is a chilly day, this is very comforting. But I get the children to actually imagine they've got a really warm mug of hot chocolate in front of them, and it smells delicious. And what they're going to do is smell that chocolate through their nose, but then very, very, very gently and mindfully, because you don't want to blow hot chocolate all over someone, do you? Because they wouldn't like you. So you're going to breathe in nice and deeply through your nose, smelling that chocolate, my favourite. That's, you know, solid serotonin for me. And then you're just gently blowing it nice and cool. So it's a really visual, immersive, sensory one, which I love. Okay, here we go. Really good for kids with ADHD and pathological demand avoidance, this one too. If you make it as visual and immersive and sensory as possible, off we go. We've got the focus. So here's my mug of hot chocolate. So it's a different breathing. It's much more gentle. And it really drops you to that theta level. And it's really condensing that oxygen going up to the brain. So that's that one. I don't want this video to be 100 hours long, you poor things. Worry balloons. Oh, those are good. You could lie down for this. Get them to lie down in a park or a garden or a balcony if you don't have a garden, or the sofa, the floor, anywhere you like. You don't have to be sitting up like this. But if I lie down, you won't be able to see me anymore because I'll be too little for the phone. So balloon breathing. And what I do with this, I often say to the children, if you put your hands on your tummy, breathe into your tummy as you breathe in. And then, because you've got to really need big lungs to fill up your balloons. If you breathe in and your tummy goes in, you haven't got the same lung capacity. So you're going to have a tiny little balloon that will look a bit sad. So you want nice big balloons. So as you blow them up, imagine your tummy's the balloon even. You're blowing out your tummy into your hands. So you've got that deepest lung capacity. You're breathing into your tummy. You're moving all those neurotransmitters of happiness and coping and feeling on top of the world, able to cope and function, bringing your body to that stillness, releasing what you don't need. So we could do 3 of those, 3 balloons, and they could be 3 different colours. And just let the children put 1 worry into each balloon, or you as adults do it. I do it. I look like a crazy woman, but I do it because it really works, because then they float away. You're never too old, you know. So you just breathe in through your nose, tummies come out, fill up your balloon with your worry, let it go. And being Italian, I do use my hands when I let it go, because I find it opens my heart as well, and I feel like I'm embracing life again. I'm letting the worries go. So you could move a little bit with this one. So I'm going to do 2 more. Honestly, it works. It works. And it's a really nice one to do with kids before bedtime as well, or just before they have their breakfast in the morning, so they're ready to face the day. But it's particularly good at night. Right, last one, flower breathing. Now this one is where you can imagine a big flower, or it could be little, or your favourite flower, or an imaginary flower. And what you're going to do is breathe in through your nose and smell it. So it's that slow, intense breathing through the nose, and then just feel yourself filling with all the freshness and the smell and the colour of your flower, because that's very important. And I'm going to do a little bit more on colour therapy in a future video coming up. So imagine your flower, and mine's a great big sunflower. I always want to give them a big kiss because they're like beautiful sunny faces, aren't they? And in Italian and French, the word for them means turning to the sun, which I think is just the most, if I was a flower, that's what I'd want to be called. Anyway, I'm going to breathe in my sunflower, and sunflowers do actually have a smell, believe it or not. But you can invent a smell if your flower is one that isn't very smelly, in a good way. So here we go. Breathing in through our noses, and you can hold your flower or hold its face. I'm going to hold mine's face because I love sunflowers. I'm filling with all the yellow and the joy and the earthiness of the sunflower. I'm releasing the stale energy and the anxiety I don't need. are so many different ways to play with the breath. You could even be a lion and be really fierce. If you're feeling angry about something, you could sit or kneel down with your hands on your knees, and you literally, I'm going to make you laugh now because you say huh, and it gets it up, gets it out. So if what am I feeling? I'm not feeling cross about anything. Okay, I have to think back to a time when I was cross about something. All right, I've got it. Right, here it comes. Ha! Ha! And I'm not cross about it anymore, so it's going to be a double ha. Ha! And it's like a lion. And I say to some of my kids, roar. If you need to roar, get out there and go, roar! And they love it. I finished on a bit of a high note. So it's just all very, very gentle and very mindful. But if you've got an angry person, maybe begin with the lion's breath and then end with the lovely flower breathing or the hot chocolate breathing. So enjoy those. Have a good play with them. But if you can be really visual with it, it will really help you, whether you're 8 months or 80. Doesn't matter. It's inclusive of all abilities. You could be in a wheelchair. You could be any budget. All you need, a bit of paper, an old biscuit tin, and off you go. You really don't need to spend a fortune on materials. And just to reinforce my message at the beginning, you know, it is really important that we get all voices heard. And I really, you know, to get Black history firmly on the curriculum would be fantastic as we go forwards. We're a global community. If Corona has taught us anything, surely it's taught us that. But also be aware of those voices that you don't hear, like anxiety, where people are too ashamed and too worried, or if you're a child, you can't verbalize it. And honestly, these simple exercises, I know I have fun with everything, but the neuroscience behind them and the help it will give you will be tremendous. And because I'm getting that many emails about anxiety and OCD at the moment, I will do another video later on in the week, as I said, about massage and yoga techniques that you can use to help. So I shall be with you all again very, very soon. Take a deep breath. I'm on a roll this week. I'm bursting with ideas. Have a gorgeous day.